Hi guys, this is Kumar. Today we are going to learn about the cell cycle. So the cell is the most amazing structure in your body which starts its function, that is division, even before you are born. And till the time of the death of a person, it keeps on dividing. The only difference is the progressions is different because it slows down after an age, because most of the cells they divide due to they want to grow or they want to replace some of the damaged cells. So the cell undergo a cycle which is called as the cell cycle. So the cell cycle is the series of events that take place in the cell leading to its division and duplication of its DNA to produce two daughter cells. So as we know that each cell comes from the pre-existing cell, and why they divide? Because they want to replace some damaged cells or some parts want to grow. And the DNA is really important because it stores all the information that how the cell is going to function. So let's look at the cell cycle. So there are 5 phases of the cell cycle. Number 1, which is called as G1 phase, which is a primary growth phase. After that is S, that is the synthesis, where there is a duplication or replication of DNA. G2 phase, where there is a secondary growth phase of the cell. And all these 3 stages, they are called as interphase. After that interphase, which comprises of all these 3 phases, that is G1, S, and G2 phase, then comes the cell division, which is one is mitosis, and after that is cytokinesis. So let's look as a whole that how the cell cycle looks at. So it starts with the G1 phase. From the arrow you can see it's the longest phase, and after that it's the S phase, which is a synthesis of the DNA, and G2, which is the secondary phase of that. So from the length of the arrow you can observe that what time duration it takes for each phase. So G1 is the longest phase, after that is the synthesis, and G2 almost the same, and the shortest is the cell division, that is for this is mitosis. So mitosis, it has 4 phases which we will be doing in detail, which is a metaphase, prophase, anaphase, and the telophase. So let's look at the interphase, which is the first phase of the growth and after the cell division. So in this, the cell matures by making more cytoplasm and the other organelles, and the cell carries on its normal metabolic activities. So in first phase, there is only one of the thing goes on as mature, and that is after the growth stage. So interphase, which is another part, is the S stage. And this S stage means the synthesis of the DNA. So DNA replicates. So you can see that from original DNA, it replicates into 2 because it's going to give each DNA to 2 daughter cells. So all those information what was stored in the form of different bases, it is passed down to the 2 daughter cells. So we'll be doing the replication of DNA in another video. So you can see that from the original DNA there were 2 identical copies of the DNA. So in G2 stage, which is the second growth stage, it occurs after the DNA has been copied and all the cell structure needed for the division are made. So in this, the cell structure are already been made before this stage, and both the organelles and proteins are synthesized. So this is the whole picture. That is what is happening in the interphase. So you can see DNA replicates, centrioles, if they are present, they replicate, and the cell prepares for the division. So all these cell structures, you can see nucleolus, centrioles, nuclear membrane, chromatid, they are replicated in G2 phase. So this is how the cells looks like. This is, we are talking about animal cells, and what's occurring in G2 phases are these three things. DNA replicates, centrioles, if it's going to replicate, and the cell prepares for the division. So what you're going to do is you're going to sketch the cell cycle. So you can pause the video and you can sketch the cell cycle. So that was for the cell cycle. In the next video we'll be discussing the cell division. That is the first one, mitosis.